I think most of us know the story of the Essex, the ship that sailed from Nantucket. It was a whaling ship that in 1820 was sunk off the coast of Chile near an island called Mocha by a sperm whale. A very distinctive whale, a white whale. One of the primary influences for Melville when he came to write Moby Dick. The whale here was known as Mocha Dick, and when it was finally killed 20 years later, about 100 harpoons were found on its body. Luis Sepulveda, a Chilean writer, wrote this novella a few years ago. Historia de una Ballena Blanca. History of a White Whale. A novella for the young, ages 8 through 88. It's told from the point of view of Mocha Dick, and the way the story begins is, presumably it's Luis Sepulveda. He is in Chile and there's a beached whale, and he's noticing how the people there are getting the whale and taking it back into the water. I mean, it's already dead, but they want to make sure it has some kind of burial in the ocean. A little boy who's a native sees him, and he begins to talk with the little boy. And the little boy says if he wants to understand the story of not just that whale, but all the whales, he holds up this shell. He says, put it to your ear, and you'll know their story. And that's what he does. And when he does, he hears the story of Mocha Dick, told by the white whale. When the story has a beautiful name, it just says, La Ballena de Color Luna, the whale, the color of the moon. There's a very poignant passage in the story when the whale comes across an elderly patriarch sperm whale, and he wants to know why the humans are hunting them. And the patriarch tells him the humans are hunting for what is extinguished in us, but they are the only ones who know how to turn it on. And what's in the whales is the oil. And what the humans use it for is to light up their ships, their ports, their towns, their cities. The whale takes upon himself to protect some elderly whales from being hunted and killed by the many, many whaling ships that want to discover that spark that's in them and which they need. And that's the reason he begins to attack these ships, to distract them from the other more vulnerable whales. Hunchback whales, blue whales. It's a very moving novella. And it would be, very sad if it would not be translated into English. But even if you have some basic understanding of Spanish, I think you will understand it. And I think it's something that you'll find quite, for me, like I said, quite moving. Because you see it from the point of view of the whale. Because at first he doesn't know what humans are. When he discovers them, he sees two ships, and he thinks they're like them. But when the ships go to war with each other, he wonders why are they attacking each other. And he realizes that's what humans do. And that's where the thread of the story becomes more poignant, more pregnant with his story, Mocha Dick's story. And you see the significance of what he's doing. You also feel his pain when the harpoons land on him, and you feel his life as it begins to leave him. And yet he continues on, he perseveres, and he goes on and on and on. The book has really pretty watercolor illustrations. And it's something that I was quite surprised to find. And it's made me return to read Moby Dick, a book I read many, many years ago. And it was thanks to Borges who convinced me to read the book. Because up until then, I thought it was just a book about whaling. But obviously it's not that. Borges said that it was basically encompasses the universe. And the way I see the book is like a book that belongs in the Old Testament. And I imagine that the people who put the book together, the books that made up the Old Testament, if this book existed, maybe they kept it out. And each chapter is very revelatory, not just about us, but about our planet and our place here, at least the way I see it. It's an enchanting, reverberating book. It resounds with me. And I'm grateful for this little book, this little novella, that made me return to. And now when I reread this book, as I do, I think of Mocha Dick, the inspiration for Moby Dick, a book that is endless. Thank you for viewing.